Doctor Who, Pop Factor by James D. Quinton, read by Russ Gold.
Across windswept 17th century ploughed fields, a small group of people made their way towards the welcoming lights radiating from the village ahead of them. In the center of the community, the denizens gathered into the stone-built church, paying for entrance on the door. Inside, a small makeshift stage had been built in front of the pulpit and altar. The church was overflowing, and excited voices feverishly discussed the forthcoming event. "Ladies and gentlemen," boomed a male voice from offstage. The audience's excitement grew, and they began to clap and cheer. "Please welcome," shouted the amplified voice of the now raucous crowd, "Edward Vincent!" The cheering and applause increased to a deafening level as a clean-shaven young man, with dark hair swept back, wearing tight petticoat breeches and an equally tight tunic, walked onto the stage. Slung around his neck was a 6-stringed acoustic guitar. As he reached the center of the stage, a microphone descended from the ceiling. "Thank you so much," muttered Edward Vincent. "This was called Bebopalula." As he began strumming the guitar and moving to the music, his voice filled the building. Looking out from the vestry of the church, they smiled in amusement as he watched his usually sedate parishioners lose themselves to the unfamiliar sound. "Quite remarkable," he commented. "Quite remarkable." "Yes, isn't it?" came the reply from the brown habit-wearing character behind him. "And this minstrel plays... what do you call it?" Rock and roll." "Rock and roll?" "Yes, quite lively, don't you think?" "Indeed, well, whatever it's called, if it's in aid of funding a new monastery, then it's in a worthwhile cause," said the priest, smiling. "Yes," nodded the monk, checking the time on his digital watch. "And have you got the money?" he added. "He's here, all right," said the doctor, striding into the deserted village. "Are you sure it's the monk?" asked Alice. "Of course," replied the doctor, pointing to his head. "I can tell." "Special powers, hey, Doc?" giggled Chand. "Something like that," counted the doctor. "What's going on here?" asked Alice. "There's no one about." "There seems to be a lot of noise coming from over there." "Behind those houses," said Chand. The trio walked past the houses and saw the church. A sign read, "Edward Vincent, one night only." The doctor, Chand, and Alice glanced at each other. "This sign is written using a black marker pen, and it's been laminated." "Yep, we found him," said the doctor as cheers and applause erupted from inside the church. "What's he up to?" asked Chand. "Shall we find out?" Chand and Alice followed the doctor, who walked up the church door and pushed it open. From the back of the church, the doctor, Alice, and Chand watched a young man on stage work his way through a selection of rock and roll standards. Alice found herself swaying to the music, and she noticed Chand tapping his feet. The doctor stood motionless, almost in shock at what he was seeing. "Seems like the monk has invented rock and roll a few hundred years early," said the doctor finally. "Yeah, but he is good, isn't he?" smiled Alice. "Are you talking about the music, or him?" asked Chand. Alice blushed. The doctor sighed. "Are you okay?" asked Chand. "Meddling, you see, meddling." "Oh, there's no harm, doctor," came a voice from behind the trio. They turned to see a monk. The monk. But his features were completely different. Gone was the old craggy face and graying hair, to be replaced by a more youthful 40-something face, with short dark hair and brown eyes. "Oh, do you like the new physiognomy?" he asked. "You've changed your face, but not your clothes," remarked the doctor. "Regeneration," cooed Alice. "Yes," said the doctor harshly. "I should be upset with you," said the monk, wagging his finger at the doctor, "leaving me to die on that unforgiving world." "Ha!" laughed the doctor. "Have you nearly had us killed?" "Oh, well," said the monk, giving a big smile, hitching up his habit and moving around them to watch Edward on stage. "It's all the past now." "Well, future. Oh, you know what I mean. And I forgive you, doctor. You got my TARDIS working again. And here I am." "Yes, here you are, meddling." "Meddling? Entertaining, you mean? And who is that young man?" asked the doctor. Added Alice, gazing at the guy on stage. "Yeah, who is he?" "My companion," replied the monk, crossing his arms. "Go on." "A failed pop star from the 1950s. "I can't believe you," groaned the doctor. "I've made him a star," protested the monk. "You should see the bookings I've got. He's got the looks and voice, and I've got the songs." "Songs?" "Yes," said the monk. "I've many hidden talents." Well, what say you show us these songs? Asked the doctor. Very well, very well. Come through to the vestry. I'll stay here, said Alice, as the doctor and Chand began to follow the monk. Alice, called the doctor. Oh, okay, she huffed. Inside the vestry, the doctor flicked through all the monk's possessions. And you've written all these songs, have you? Yes. There must be the entire Beatles' back catalogue here. Just think of the future royalties, Doctor. Ridiculous, huffed the doctor. Ah, you're just jealous. You didn't think of it first, scoffed the monk. I'm the Simon Cowell of the 17th century. In fact, I might take that name. The doctor shook his head in frustration. And you can't stop me, Doctor. The people love Eddie. Okay, I'll do you a deal. A deal? A deal? Repeated Chand. A deal, said Alice. Yes, a deal. What do you have in mind? We'll let the people decide, replied the doctor with a grin on his face. Pardon? A competition. If my singers beat your Eddie, then you end it and go. And if we win? Then, the doctor paused, considering what he was suggesting, you win. Deal! Cried the monk, slapping his hands together in delight, then grabbing the doctor's hand and shaking it. It took a while, Doctor, but I think you've finally come around to my way of seeing things. Think of all the fun we could have, the whole cosmos to enjoy. Not sure about that, my friend, said the doctor, bewildered by the monk's excitement. Just like when we were younger at the academy. Remember the tricks we used to play on old Barusa? The monk laughed, and he put his arm around the doctor and led him out into the church, where Eddie was still performing. So what shall we call this competition? Asked the monk. How about Pop Factor? Suggested Alice. Very clever, muttered Chand. We could probably charge extra on the door, exclaimed the monk. No, replied the doctor. This will be a free event. Oh, sighed the monk. Well, I hope you'll be able to join me for a drink tonight, Doctor, and your companions, of course. Yes, why not? About 7. Fine. See you later. But who are you going to get to sing for you? And you'd better not be thinking me, Alice said in one breath, eyeing up the doctor's reaction, which was to give her a broad smile. Oh, no, Alice moaned, but I can't sing. You can, interrupted Chand. I've heard you in the shower plenty of times. You have you? You know, just in passing. Pass by a lot when I'm showering, do you? She asked, placing her hands on her hips. So, Doctor, you said singers, as in more than one? Yes, I think you two will make an excellent duo, you know, stated the doctor as Chand held his head in his hands. Really, I do. Think Ike and Tina, Sonny and Cher, Robson and Jerome, Bean and Mog. Bean and Mog? Questioned Alice. Don't you get Altudo TV on your Freeview box? Asked the doctor. No, they both replied. Shame, they were really good. So you want us to sing as a duo? Yes, please, Alice. I know you two can do it. Chand sighed. Well, I've always been destined for stardom. What are we going to sing? Asked a less than enthusiastic Alice. I thought Please Please Me by the Beatles. I can teach one of you the guitar chords. Very simple. Okay, Doc, said Chand, but I don't think we're going to win.